The Abyss. It's a different dimension than the ones we know of, such as the End and the Nether. In today's video, we decided to survive 100 days in the Abyss, which is roughly 33 hours worth of footage. This new dimension has things ranging from horrifying creatures, bloodthirsty plants, and even some insane biome generation. We have 3 goals in mind. The first is to build a house there with the materials found in that dimension. The second is to get ourselves a hold of some unknown armor. And the third is to kill the final boss, also known as the Roca boss. This challenge was anything but easy and took a while to actually record. So if you guys could hit that subscribe button, I'd really appreciate it. Let's get on to the video. Day 1. For your guys' convenience, I'm actually going to be summing up the first 20 days within this next bit, because if we start in the Abyss, we're actually not going to be able to finish within the 100-day interval. So what we're going to do is start in the overworld and get ourselves prepared for the Abyss, because if you go into the Abyss unprepared, well, let's just say it's somewhat near impossible to survive. So in actuality, days 1 to 20. I spawned into the world, got some wood, then actually found a jungle, decided to get some melons from there, and found a village fortunately. I then decided to take its hay bales, create it into bread, and that was my food source. I explored the plains biome in search of this thing called Lauren, which is something we need to actually get into the Abyss with. Shortly after, I decided to explore a ravine. There's actually a mineshaft in there, got a bunch of iron, came out of there with a full set of iron armor and some iron tools. Came back up, created a sheep farm, created a wheat farm, decided to mass reproduce them, and whilst that was all happening, I also decided to go diamond mining and came up with somewhat nearly an entire set of diamond stuff. After the mass reproduction, I then used the resources to make a bunch of beds and go netherite hunting. If you guys didn't know, it's when you get a bed and blow it up in the nether looking for netherite. Whew, nailed it. Alright, here are the results. That's my inventory. We're going into the Abyss with that stuff. I got the full set of armor, but I couldn't get the full set of tools. I only got an axe, and I wish I could have got the pickaxe, but honestly, it's fine. We were on a budgeted time. Nothing we can do about it, and honestly, I was excited. I wanted to go into the Abyss as soon as possible. To get into the Abyss, we have to get a hold of a bunch of obsidian. I used obsidian from the lava lake and the portal to make enough for us to get to the Abyss. And we were in. I actually, before the video even started, didn't know too much about the Abyss, so I wasn't really that prepared for the Abyss at all. I knew a couple of the mobs and some of the stuff that we needed, but I really didn't know what we was doing. Days 20 to 25. Right off the bat, I decided to build a platform. This was so I can basically start sorting out my inventory, which I probably should have done before going into the portal, but I didn't. And in the midst of organizing my inventory, I then get attacked by a spider. This isn't no ordinary spider. This thing leaped at me. It's not only how the spider moves, but also how much damage the spider does. Mind you, I have a full pair of netherite armor, and it still could potentially 3 to 4 shot me. Straight off the bat, things weren't looking too good for us. I had the first goal in mind. We had to find a place to build a house. But before that, I had to know about my environment. There were a bunch of crazy glowing plants all over the place, and a bunch of creatures all around. So I wanted to check them out. Not to mention there was these peculiar looking rocks, which I think are the replacement for cobblestone. I didn't know at that time. I swear though, each and every one of these flowers each have a different property. Like some give you good potion effects and some give you negative ones, such as blindness, wither, and even lightning. Like, how does a plant even summon lightning? The fact that it's not only the mobs that I have to worry about, but it's also the environment and the plants around me made things a lot harder. Talk about the world being against you. Anyways, we kept our head up and we still kept moving forward. I was preferably looking for some sort of a mountain hillside thing. I guess something in my mind went like, okay, if we're higher up, they can't possibly spawn up there, right? So we honestly went on for a while. I did end up meeting this person named Marcus, which was an NPC that had a bit of a quest for me. Though the quest was kind of unforgiving because it required a lot of stuff and a material I didn't even know how to get, so that was just beyond us. But it did say that if we did that, they'd also give us a very powerful chest plate. I didn't know if I should believe him or not because, you know, in the long run, it might just take away my netherite stuff and give me like an iron chest plate. I don't know if I was willing to trust any strangers in this dimension, to be honest with you, because straight off of the bat I got attacked, so I don't know. This Marcus guy, looking kind of shady. As a side effect of being in the Abyss in general, there's actually surges of fear that you get throughout the entire thing. So literally, you could be being chased by one of the most deadliest mobs, and out of nowhere, you get a surge of fear, which actually gives you, I believe, blindness too. It's actually super annoying, and there's no real way of getting rid of it without milk buckets, and your boy didn't pack milk buckets. or anything related to a cow really. But here's the thing, I didn't think that potion effects was going to be a part of the new dimension at all, so I didn't really have much time to prepare for that, and in all honesty I didn't think it would be this inflicting. Eventually we ended up at a place with this little bit of a jelly tree. I wanted to mine it, so I mined it with my netherite axe. The thing is, the blocks on the jelly tree, aka the jelly blocks, are actually a light source, and that was the light source I used throughout the entire 100 days, and honestly has been a really big blessing. Now that I think about it, why didn't I just use a torch? Days 25 to 30. We also met up with a couple of the lovely locals. They're named Abyss Guards, but I call them annoyances, for obviously quite respectful reasons. They are literally the heavy hitters of the Abyss. Now this mob, mind you, is one of the most least hostile mobs here. You know, there's the spider, then there's the random zombies, and then there's the Abyss Guards. Literally, these are some of the most lower tiered mobs within this entire dimension, and I was struggling with them. I had to build up and create my own platform just so I can hit them from above as if they were an iron golem in a speedrun. Not fun. While I'm trying to explore the lands and looking for a place to build the house, aka one of the goals of ours, I decided to step on a thunder plant. If you guys didn't know what that is, it basically spawns in like 3 thunderbolts from the sky every time you step on this plant. Whose bright idea was this? It was the most terrifying thing. All of this while I'm trying to run away from mobs so I don't die. I almost nearly died to the thunderbolt, and that's not even taking into the consideration me almost burning to a crisp after the thunderbolt. And then out of nowhere I get attacked by a spider. It pushes me onto some lightning flowers, and I kid you not, I was literally at 2 hearts. I was burning, and if the fire kept going as it normally would have, I would have died. I had to risk one of the golden apples here just so the series doesn't end, because we've came so freaking far. It may not seem like it, but that overworld portion did in fact take up quite a bit of my time. It's a little sad to say, but right after I healed all of my health and had extra absorption health from the golden apple, I got attacked by a spider again, and it brought me down to half a heart. Why didn't I use a golden apple? Well, I mean, I had my shield up. I kind of put a little bit too much faith into my shield, but I managed. I got the last hit in. It's dead. We're good. Let's move on. All jokes aside, within this 100-day series, I definitely took a bunch of risks. I didn't really know what would happen with certain situations, seeing as I've not yet experienced most of the mod in general, and I was still learning along the way, and so that kind of made things a lot more difficult than it should have been. It's just the fact that we're almost dying to level 2 spiders, and there are mini bosses we have to fight just to get to the main boss. This was worrisome. We need to level up our gear, and we needed to do it fast. Days 30 to 35. So eventually we did end up finding that mountain that I wanted to live on. Now it wasn't really a specific mountain, it was just a random mountain that I found, and it had a jelly tree on top. So honestly, that was fine by me, completely fine. It was nice and well lit. Not to mention, I had a gist of how I wanted to build it. I wanted to use some of the blocks that were part of the mod to build the house itself, even though I had an abundant amount of spruce wood. And here's the result. Obviously, I'm not the best builder, but I was kind of proud of this house. Not gonna lie, it wasn't too bad, it wasn't too good, but, you know, let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. Now, upon building this very house, I actually managed to stumble upon something that I didn't think I would actually find throughout these 100 days. And it was a door. Now, the thing about this door is a little glitched, right? So this door is made out of the mushroom wood. Now, looking into it, once placed and toggled, and by that I mean just simply right-clicked, it lets you see through the walls. I think you guys can tell where this one's going. I call my little friend Mushroom Door. You know, shout out to my homie Mushroom Door, because if it wasn't for this door, I probably wouldn't have found the ores that I found. Honestly, this part probably would have been a lot harder if it wasn't for this door, but using the door, we actually uncovered some of the caves that are underneath. That way, we were rest assured that if we were mining in the direction that the cave was at, we definitely hit a cave. So that's exactly what we did. I mined a little bit here, I mined a little bit there. I honestly did a lot of mining throughout this portion. Days 35 to 45. I was just exploring and mining all over the place. There were a bunch of new ores that I've never seen before in my life. I did know one thing though. The armor set that I wanted spawned in the same level as Diamond. which just means your boys gotta go to y equals 11. Piece of cake. There weren't a lot of mobs spawning in here, there was like 1 or 2 occasionally, but honestly it really wasn't a challenging task. That's probably why my shield wasn't up for this portion, and it was just my light. Eventually, I then come to the realization that normal stuff spawns here too, and by that I mean diamonds. I was actually in the belief that diamonds didn't spawn in this dimension, it was only in the overworld. But oh, was I proven wrong. And that's probably for the better. Here's where things get a little bit interesting. Once we're actually down there, I start strip mining a bit and get a bunch of resources. But post getting these resources, I used the door method to see if there were any nearby caves that also had similar materials in which I needed. I was ready to go strip mining again for a very, very important resource. It's just as rare as diamond and it's known as unknown ore. This is actually the thing that allows me to make one of the most overpowered gear I can possibly obtain within 100 hours of the game, all while completing our goals. In search for this stuff, I utilized the little bit of a door method that we have. Though not finding that, I did find something kind of interesting. A chest buried underneath the ground at y equals 11. First of all, why the heck is there a chest here in the first place? And second of all, how would I ever find that if I didn't find the door? That's the thing, I wouldn't be able to, so God bless the door. Anyways, I decide to check it out regardless. I start mining over there, and upon reaching there, I actually find a little bit of a miniature biome looking thing. I didn't really understand it too much. There was snow in there, there was these unique looking plants in there, not to mention the entire thing was made out of a material I've yet to see in the abyss. It was honestly really strange, but what was even stranger is I double checked for where the chest is located, and when I mined there, it was gone. I started mining all around it and went back to the door just to double check that the chest was still there, and it disappeared. I didn't understand it that much, and honestly I still don't understand what happened to it. It shouldn't have despawned. Besides that, I start looking into the crafting recipes and the usages of certain items within that area, including the thing that the entire thing is actually made out of. I later find out that that's actually something we need to further progress into the game, but I am aware that the key is in fact the portal opener, and there is a portal in the middle. You can see the frame, but I didn't have any way of lighting it because I didn't have the resources for the key itself. I saved the cords and went back into mining because I really needed these resources. Days 45 to 50. I'm not gonna lie to you, during this duration of time nothing really happened. The only things that really did happen was we found a lot more open caves due to the door method, and we found a lot more diamonds and a lot of the materials that we needed to further progress into the game. Because I knew if I wanted to get by 100 days worth on the surface up there and killed the boss, I'd need to level up my gear. So that's exactly what I was focused on. It was either this or I literally fear for my life. I was already halfway in and I really didn't feel like restarting. I played it really safe during this duration. Days 50 to 60. Now the thing happened that actually happened earlier happened again. We used the door method, found ourselves another one of those interesting little miniature biomes with the portal in the middle, but this time I pinpointedly and accurately focused on where the chest was. It was near the back of the room, so I went to the back of the room and I mined into it. And guess what? The chest was there. The chest existed. I knew I wasn't losing my mind. Funny enough, the very thing on the first one that we found that I actually lacked to activate the portal was buried there all along. Before we did any of that, I actually wanted to sort out a little bit of my inventory. I placed down a crafting table and a chest and a furnace. In the furnace, I started smelting a bunch of the iron. I tried smelting some of the other ores that were just kind of like in their ore format, but then I soon realized that that's not how you use them and I'm just a moron. Anyways, I proceed to make a bunch of iron because I needed a lot of shields. I realized if I didn't want to take full damage to certain things, I will need a shield. If you guys didn't already get the memo, mobs in this dimension don't really take knockback, so shields are a must-have. By the way, this is also the time that I took to actually look into a bunch of the recipes and see what things do. I also created my first set of unknown armor. This stuff was so much better than my netherite stuff. I literally took off my netherite stuff, stuffed it into my chest, and put on my new armor. Check out how it looks. It looks pretty good on me, doesn't it? After all of this was sorted, I did in fact leave a couple of my things in that dimension because we were going to have to come back to this dimension at the end of the day anyways, so it didn't really matter that much to me. Day 60 to 75. I decided to light up the portal and we were in. Remember that strange block that the entire little miniature biome was made out of? Yeah, let's just say this world is full of it. A lot of it. And our Y level was around Y level 11, and we spawned in a cave. We had to mine out, and we were literally underneath a mountain in the other dimension as well. Not a fun experience, because all I did was mine up. Eventually, we escaped the confines of the little burrow that we were mining out of to be greeted by a very, very cold world. It was an ice world. The entire thing kind of looked like an ice rink if you think about it. Some notable stuff is that there was in fact this pink stuff that I did collect. There was also some very, very aggressive guards. They were not nice, and the damage that they dealt was insane. It had to be their weapon or something, because when it comes to damage, that thing put me in more life or death situations than the spiders in the abyss, bro. I'm not even joking. Oh, and a little bit of a side note, let's just say that my armor took some pretty heavy hits when they were attacking me. And I do want to remind you guys, this stuff is better than netherite. How the heck is it breaking? Despite that, I still use my main strategy, which is killing them as if they were iron golems. It honestly does work really efficiently. And yeah, no, I kind of needed to do that or I would have died. Kind of had to. The knights dropped this thing called the Night Shard, which we actually needed to make better gear. So that's exactly what I collected. I collected a whole bunch of Night Shards and spent quite a bit of time doing that. I honestly just went on a killing spree. No remorse. I didn't care. I wasn't having it, you know. They were tearing away my armor. I just got it. It's like buying a new pair of shoes and people just stepping all over it. I wasn't having it. I spent quite a bit of time here because I wanted to make sure that I had a very safe amount, because it wasn't only this stuff that we needed. We need to use this to make the actual ingot itself, and the ingots themselves actually make more of the refined ingot. It was a confusing recipe process, so I needed a whole bunch of them. So honestly, it was kind of a farming session. While exploring the vast dimension that we were in, I actually found this thing called an Echora nugget. It actually comes from a bit of a plant that spawns there. Now, I then found out to make the stuff that I wanted, aka the pickaxe and the axe that I needed, I actually needed these Echora nuggets. And to basically match them up with the amount of night stuff we have, we had to get a bunch of these too. So here's a few clips of me going around the place looking for these nuggets and you know, professionally avoiding these mobs, because with time I got better and better. I was kind of proud of some of these clips, I'm not gonna lie. It was finally time to head back into the abyss. Luckily I did in fact save the coordinates, so all I had to do really was just head over there. Pretty simple stuff. We weren't even that far. In all honesty, when farming the knights, I just went round and round and they just kept respawning. It was the flowers that took us a little bit further. Days 75 to 80. We made it back to the portal, but there was a little bit of an issue. We went through the portal, and instead of leading us to our original destination within the abyss, it actually took us to a zombie spawner. That was not intended. It kinda broke a little, and I was a little worried about it. But upon re-entering back into the ice world, they then quickly decided to make another portal. I decided to use the walls of the cave to make the portal. Don't ask why, I just wanted to. And surprisingly, it in fact linked with the portal that we last were. Then after getting a bunch of the stuff that we wanted to keep, I also decided to craft some of the stuff that I wanted to make. Did I mention that we were missing a very crucial part, and that was more of the unknown stuff, so we had to go strip mining again? Yeah, we had to do that. I knew grinding was a very hefty portion of this mod, but Jesus! Cut a guy some slack. Days 80 to 85. After this bit of another mining trip, I then decided to come back. After finding a somewhat decent amount, I decided to convert it and make myself some of those lovely night ingots. And at last, I was able to upgrade the things that I wanted to. My pickaxe, because my diamond one actually broke, and my axe. Something that I didn't take into consideration is the simple fact that it actually didn't support armor. I couldn't use the night ingots to make armor, and that was one of the biggest pains. At least I didn't know how to, so that was kind of a problem. And I also made myself this thing called a guard staff. Now I didn't actually know too much as to what it did, but apparently it summons soldiers in for you, and it actually came in handy when I was fighting the end boss. So watch till the end if you want to see how that went. We spent the rest of this time actually going back to our base. I had the coordinates saved, and surprisingly we weren't that much off from our house itself. A very big and crucial part of beating this game was actually a bit of the monoliths. Now these things actually spawn all over the world. They're a bit scattered and a bit random, but basically what they give you are these little pages. The pages are very crucial because you actually require them to spawn in the final boss. It's one of the prerequisites and part of the crafting recipe, so these were required. On the way home, I actually found quite a few, and by that I mean like one, but you know, that's plenty. We only really needed 7, so I decided to take a look around the place. Days 85 to 90. Again, this entire period of time was actually dedicated to finding these monoliths, and luckily for us there was actually a lot nearby the kind of general area that we were at, so all I really had to do was just kind of walk about. I was also looking for a very specific biome to get a very specific item. In the midst of this, I also finally decided to tackle on that strange looking structure that actually spawns all over the place in the abyss. And it's one of the only structures I've honestly ever seen besides the thing underground. So that was kind of interesting. I expected some chests or something to be at the top, but honestly the entire structure was just filled with chests. But on the bright side, there was a monolith at the very top, so that was somewhat rewarding. Lo and behold, eventually we do manage to get most of the pages that we require, and it came up pretty fast. There was a lot of monoliths that we passed by earlier, and I honestly thought they were plants. Kind of a bit of a mistake on my part, but I believe we had enough. I wasted no time on this. After getting the right amount of stuff that I wanted from there, I quickly ran back to my base, gathered everything that I'd possibly need for 1, fighting the mini bosses, and 2, fighting the main boss. Let me explain. The concept of it is we actually need a common drop from these mini bosses. The mini bosses are known as the Roca. You might have seen it in some of the clips from earlier. Let's just say these mini bosses actually spawn a lot more frequently than you'd expect them to, which is a little strange, but I guess it's a little bit, to add on to the challenge of it all. After obtaining the drop, you then go on to crafting everything that you need. First, you need to make this little strange book thing, and then afterwards you need to put it into a crafting recipe to get the spawning for it, and that's about it really. It does look like an Eye of Ender, but it doesn't actually lead us anywhere. It just spawns in the boss. Days 90 to 95. But here's the thing about the mini bosses, there are so many of them. I'm not even joking. That's not the hard part. The hard part isn't finding the Rocas existing in the world. No, it's locating them within the region that you see the boss bar at the top. So it's like a little teaser, and honestly I've seen like 15 in this duration of time, and I've only found 4. Past the game of hide and seek, let me show you what this basically looked like. There's the first one, the second one, the third one, and the fourth one. Hours of my life simplified for you guys. Days 95 to 99. That was it. We were then able to craft the final item. This item would literally grant us the final boss. It was time. We had to get this show on the road, but I tried it and the crafting recipe didn't work. We actually needed 4 unique monolith pages, so I actually went back and got the remaining pages that we needed. Looking into it a little deeper, I then pressed E and noticed that I was missing a helmet. I didn't realize, but in the midst of fighting all the mini bosses, I lost the helmet and my armor durability was close to breaking. This was not looking good. I was looking around in my inventory, and the second most powerful ore was just up and missing. I probably dropped it thinking it was junk. Despite how major of a setback this was, I forgot about it. Okay, relax, I have a short attention span, alright? It got me thinking, and I may or may not have got a little nervous, so I didn't really know what to do if I died, because then I'd have to do all of that again. And after sitting through around like 32 hours worth of this stuff, I really wasn't willing to sit around for any longer. I was kind of on the edge of my seat with this one, I'm not gonna lie. I decided to make a backup plan. If everything goes wrong and the boss just starts straight up targeting and chasing me, I created a little bit of a trap. The gist of the trap was very simple. I based it off of a video review that I actually watched prior to creating this stuff to even spawn the boss in the first place. That way I knew the gist of what I was doing. So I decided to make this trap based on the model of the boss itself. After I was done with that, I got a little bit more confident, but at the end of the day, I've never fought this boss before. So I just decided, you know what, screw this. Whatever happens, happens, if it messes up, I'll just do it again another day. It's fine. And so we took the boss spawning item and right-clicked the ground with it. It then furthered us with some more instructions, and we followed the instructions. Afterwards, the boss spawned. I was a little confused. I didn't really know where the boss spawned until everything started getting blurry and I started seeing, the figure. And I realized it's actually spawned in. Something was already attacking it and I didn't know what it was until I walked over to it. I then soon realized that it's actually Nosaj, the person I actually had to stand next to even initiate the fight. Apparently we both had the same goal, which was taking down the Roca end boss, aka the enemy of the abyss. Let's take this. Okay, there it is, there's the end boss. Kill it, kill it, kill it! Kill it, dude! Let's go, let's go, let's go! He's bodying all the hits for me. Oh my gosh, dude. He's literally dead. He's literally dead. He's so dead. Go, guards. Oh, no, 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 no. No. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Oh my god, dude. Oh my god, dude. Oh my god. He almost killed me. Bro. It's stuck. Is this... Are you stuck? That was so freaking close. And you're dead. Go to monolith and right click on it. What did I get? This is okay. My night axe is a little stronger than this, but I'll take it. I'll take it. I'll take it. I'll honestly take it. Not gonna lie, he was putting in some heavy hits and I was putting in some heavy hits of my own. I was feeling pretty confident because all the hits really went to Nosage. He literally bodied it. So I got a little confident. Even though I gappled up, I got attacked. I only realized afterwards that the one person that was taking all the hits and helping me kill the boss in the first place died. It was all up to me and the guards. The guards, mind you, deal barely no damage and they're super easy to kill. So it was all up to me. After I started taking some hits, I soon went from above average health to half a heart, despite me having a shield. At that very moment, the only thing that I possibly could have done is took another hit to the shield and just ran, and that's exactly what I did. I booked it. I was literally in the brink of losing 99 days worth of progress. Luckily, I made it out of his reach. Eventually, I did manage to heal up all my hearts back, and he was at basically a sliver of health left. And it was dead. That was it. The amount of relief that I got after it died wasn't... It was just so satisfying. Finishing it off with the last thing that I needed to do for the series. It was beautiful. Now beyond this, we really didn't have a lot of time, and the last thing that it did instruct me to do is right click this little bit of a totem. Did I get something? What? Hello, Mr. Fish. Why do I still have bad luck? Is that it? Wait, I think this is spawn. Yeah. We did it. We beat the game. Oh god. Oh, okay. Well, you guys are gone. Goodbye. And after right clicking it, it did bring us into the overworld. There was a music disc that the final boss actually dropped. Honestly, it just sounds like the Abyss ambient music, but it was still a pretty cool addition to the vanilla Minecraft music discs. And there you have it. That's how I survived 100 days in the Abyss. If you guys actually made it to the end of the video, thank you so much again for watching it. If you guys like this type of content, then feel free to hit that subscribe button along with leaving a like. It honestly lets me know that you guys are really enjoying the content, and I'll have more of a motivation to make more of these. With that being said, peace out.